Hello, 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 everybody. I'm going to set this thing up for us. Get everybody here. Ooh. Let me silence this. Boom, boom, boom. How's everybody doing? So we're going to switch it up today, guys. Switch up the hosts different times, which is cool because they're both still coming on. Greatly appreciated. Let me see how we can switch. Oops. Boom. Oh. Dang. Please wait for technical difficulties. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Hi.
Oh, my friend Zoe joined. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe. Welcome, welcome. So we're just going to give it a couple of seconds to let everybody join in. And if you want to take this time, you got some water. You ready?
I got a free sign.
That works.
Yeah.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, there's protests happening all day, all the way till the 15th, down here in Salt Lake. Yeah.
Yes,
One's happening every day.
yes, I see that. I'm so happy because we're getting a little bit better at kind of like calming things down and doing things a little bit more, peacefully and also organized. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's crazy.
Yes, yes. That's okay though. When we bring conversation, that's when change starts coming on.
Exactly.
So it's pretty hot over here, and I usually have my beanie on because my hair is growing, but I'm not about to sweat, just,
It
you
looks
know?
good.
So,
It looks good.
thank you. It's growing. It's going. It's going.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you. So I guess we could just get started and people will just come in as we go. But before we get started, it's kind of been being called to my heart, not only for today, but just throughout past situations that are happening with COVID and just everything before that. So I just kind of wanted to take a couple of minutes for everybody that's here. If you guys just want to sit with us in silence. Just for everything that is going on, just for respect for everything. So we're going to take 60 seconds and then we'll jump in.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's been 60 seconds. I hope it has. Thank you, everybody. I just thought that that was such a good idea just because with everything going on and everything that continues to go on, we're all like going through these things, these big things and these big changes together, like as a nation, and it's like, we're all going through it together, you know what I mean? And I don't really think we're all taking the time to kind of like calm down and just like process and just, take a break because we're doing a lot, we're going through a lot, which is okay, but it's just a daily reminder for everybody when there's a lot going on, just even you'll be surprised if it's 30 seconds, 60 seconds to just kind of like breathe and just calm yourself down. Things will get a lot better. So Very exciting. This is the second official live being on, and I'm so happy that you guys are here to join. Thank you very much.
My followers,
So,
I put on, so some of them will come and go, probably.
yeah, of course. Yeah, it's all here and it's being recorded as well. So I'm going to upload it, and everybody who didn't catch it, they can just jump on and they can see it. But it's going to be there.
All right.
So we'll just start off, I guess, by a little breakdown of the agenda. I'll just do introductions, and then we'll kind of just go into the questions that we had, and then we'll close it off with anything that you had to say, anything that you had to cover and touch up on. So for everybody that's here, anybody that's new, my name is Chelsea. I'm C. Rice Says on all social platforms. Hi, Kaya Papaya.
Hi, Annie. I'm doing a live right now.
Yeah. Hello. But yeah, so C-Ray says on those social platforms, the reason why I'm doing this is to provide youth advocacy and support virtually. When I say youth advocacy, I want to get out there and I want to provide the information, and I want to share the information with everybody that may need it. And I'm starting locally. So that's what we're doing here. We're starting locally. I'm trying to find organizations. I'm trying to find, the kids, where they are, what they need, and we're doing that virtually. So the purpose of this whole thing is to bring awareness again to the real things that our youth face today, and ending the normalization of everything that starts with racism, bullying, hate, etc. I feel like when I say normalization, I feel like we've kind of gotten used to kind of like this thing and this way of living when it's not okay. So which is okay, you know what I mean? We're all growing and learning, but that's why we're all here, to come together, to share the information and spread the good news. And finally, the purpose as well is to give the youth a platform and a voice to come together, to show each other that we're all going through the same things and how we can overcome it. And when I say a platform and a voice, obviously a space to be open and to touch on topics that we don't normally talk about, but also to show everybody, when I say a voice, is that I don't want us pushing off the youth and just, telling the youth, like, we're not going to listen to you because you're young. We're not going to listen to you because, like, we're here more, we know more, we understand, we're smarter, anything like that. That is a big thing that always happens. I sometimes do it myself and I'm guilty to it. That's okay. But that's why we're here, to spread the awareness and that normalization and keep it going. Boom, boom. Are you enjoying is that a cookie? Yum. Pizza rolls. All right. So jumping into the questions, how did you feel about the question that we're gonna talk about? First of all, how did that make you feel?
Oh, the first question?
Yeah. Before we jump into it, I know that's something that you had to process. So what did you think about the question? How did it make you feel?
Okay, so the question was, what would I tell myself if I was a freshman? Well, it was something like that, right?
If we could tell our teenage self one thing, what would that
Yeah.
be?
If I could tell my teenage self one thing, it'd be that you don't know it all, you know? I went into high school thinking like, oh, this is gonna take so long. Like, everyone here is gonna hate me. Like, everyone's so different. Everyone already has friends. I went through high school with that mentality until I hit senior year, and then I started realizing that not everyone is really different from each other. We're all just trying to make it through high school and try to get out to the real world. And when I graduated, I realized, I was like, holy crap, high school's over. Like, it's done. So if I could tell myself something, like as I was a freshman, I'd be like, enjoy it because it's really short, instead of being angry and missing out on things because you're sad or because you're annoyed or mad. Like, I said no to a lot of things because I was sad and I wanted to stay home. But obviously now we're stuck at home, and I'm really regretting missing out on all like the games and the dances because I just didn't want to go. But yeah, I would tell myself to enjoy it because it's short. It's kind of cliche, but Yeah.
No, of course. Yeah. No, good thing to say. And then with that, like that's a good thing to say, just because it's like that happens to a lot of us, even if we're not in high school, even in life in general. I'm glad you brought that up, just because I have been myself trying to get to the mentality of yes. And the only reason why, obviously, if you need to take a break or if it's something that's unhealthy for you, then you'd be like, okay, no. But just being in the mentality of saying yes and being welcome to everything, positive or negative, we all got to kind of go through that process or anything. So with that being said, and you kind of like, saying that, another question would be, if you knew then what you kind of knew now and what you said, how do you think things would be different for you?
I think I would have had a lot more high school memories, because when I look back on high school, I'm just like, I just went to school. Like, that's all I ever wanted to do. I didn't want to go to the games. I didn't want to go to the dances. I didn't really make friends because I didn't put myself out there enough. Like, it was like right when I'd get through the day and then I'd end it, and that was it. Like, and I think when a lot of people look back on high school, they miss it. And I can't say that I miss it because I didn't really do much, until senior year. So, yeah.
Right.
But I think I would have had a lot more friends, a lot more memories to look back on.
Yeah, of course. And with that and everything that you feel with that, if another teenager, another person, anybody in general, can relate to the message that you're sending, what would kind of be that? Obviously, everything you said is good advice as well, but specifically to other people out there coming from, if I would have, what do you think would be your advice to them?
Um, Man, I didn't think of that one. My advice to people, so that they don't look back on life and regret not getting involved, my advice is just say yes, like, obviously not to drugs or to anything that it would have a bad impact on your life. But if your friend invites you to go hang out at a park, just say yes. Like, saying yes doesn't hurt, and you can always leave, if you don't want to. If you don't want to. But I said no to a lot of things because I was going through a really hard time, like with depression and stuff. I was going through a hard time, like self-harming and like getting involved with the wrong crowd. But if I had said yes to the people that wanted to help me and that wanted to be there for me, I think I would have turned out a little differently than I did. And there's nothing wrong with the way it turned out, but like I I ended up the same, but I took a different path than I could have taken. I made it harder on myself by
You did
saying
it harder
yeah.
and not smarter.
hmm I made it harder on myself.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all do it. Okay, so I like that response, and I like that you also shared about like the reasoning behind all of that. So if you want to, you can answer it, but if you want to skip, you could also skip as well. But with that being shared, as far as like you going through a challenging time, just for future reference and for all of us, so we can really see the realness behind it, what do you think you could have had or could have been provided specifically for yourself and the things that you're going through to maybe help you change that a little bit?
Yeah. So I grew up believing like a lot of cliches, like, oh, these are the jocks and these are the cheerleaders, and I'm one of the losers, the outcasts. Like, a lot of kids grow up with that mentality because of the media, because of TV shows that we grew up with that portrayed teenagers like that, you know. And I was one of the hard believers of that. Like, obviously, I didn't dress normally and I didn't act normally. I didn't come from America, like, so I took a lot of the media's like picture and I made it my belief. And I think I started defying that way of thinking, like going against it, just this past year. Um, and it was a really late realization because I could have made so much friends. I said I didn't want to try out for the cheer team because I'm a little bigger than a lot of the girls on the cheer team, or I didn't want to talk to the football guys because they all were loud. And I just think that a lot of cliches and stereotypes can ruin it for you. They can ruin your experiences with other people. And if I could go back to high school, I would have talked to more people, because people tried to talk to me. People tried to get to know me. And I would just say, oh no, I can't be their friend. Like, I'm a loser. Like, I had that mentality where I suck, you know? But I think that it was, I can't blame society for that. And I can't blame the media for that. But I feel like the media was a huge influence. And I wish I had people that were adults that could tell me that I am good enough and that I am worth it, and that I shouldn't believe the way the media portrays teenagers, because, you know, adults think we're, you know, we're troublemakers and that we have no purpose and that we're just trying to, you know, go out and smoke weed and have fun and all of that. But everybody's different, and some people do that stuff because they need to, and they need to make it through the harder things. And sometimes those, you know, the supplements or those things just help them through it. But I think that what teenagers need the most is people who can understand them without making them feel belittled because of what they're going through, you know? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I think we're gonna take a second. Um, yeah, first of all, I just want to thank you for being so open and so honest and really sharing your honest and truth opinion for you and your needs and what you think. And secondly, I also want to tell you, from somebody that is 10 years older than you, I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that you are coming into the realization of all the truths and all the things that we're going through as a society, and you making that change. So yes, you are addressing that you wish in high school you were more open, you know, you're more yes, yes, yes. But now this is another opportunity for you, and more years to come for you to continue to do that. And for you being into that headspace and that realization when you're 18 years old, when you're having a hard time or when you're doubting yourself or when you feel like, man, I wish I did this or I wish I did that, remember what we're talking about right now, and just know, like I said again, from somebody that's 10 years older than you're doing great, you know, and I'm glad, because when I was your age, I was thinking about that, but it was the fact of just the normalization of it, you know, the normalization of the division in school, the normalization of the titles in school, the normalization of bullying, the normalization, you know, of kids just being kids, wanting to go out and smoke pot and hang out with the friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and with that, on top of that, I am also glad that you shared your needs. I think that that's something that we all crave. I think that's something that we all need. I myself am still in search of that answer. Um, but I want to let you know that your sharing of having just an adult to be there and, you know, to address you as a person instead of a teenager or a kid, that's the whole purpose for being here. That's what I want to share, and that's what I want to do. And I'm glad you mentioned it. For any, I know that there's people here that's going to see it or there's going to know Guam. There's a lot of Guam people as well. This is my lovely, awesome niece. She's a 2020 graduate, so everybody give it up. I'm so proud of you and I'm so happy. And it's going to get a little personal, but that's okay, because that's the purpose here, is just for us to come together and for us to talk about the real topics. But again, I thank you for sharing that. And as being an adult and being another person, I'm sorry that, you know, I wasn't there for you and I didn't say those things for you, because that is our responsibility. There's no excuse to it, but at the same token, I don't want us to feel guilty about it. I don't want us to dwell
Yeah.
on it. The purpose of this is to move forward and continue to just take action on the things that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So, whew, I need to really process these questions. It's not heavy for you guys only. It's a heavy thing for me and probably everybody out there too. Um, so to close that off, I appreciate all the time and the stuff that we're talking about that. How are you doing? Is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Is there anything that you wanted to share? What do you think about the stuff that I'm doing here? How do you feel about coming on and talking? All that good stuff. That was like 5 questions in one.
Yeah. So I think these are good questions. You know, when you're a kid and when you're a teenager, that's like the hardest thing, because you feel so alone. And you're going through changes where you think, like, no one can help me, you know. I know so many teenagers my age who who are still going through depression, going through like tough things at home, who are figuring out their sexuality, just barely finding out who they are, or you know, like black teenagers being afraid of getting you know, getting involved with the police officers. It's very crazy in the world because there's so many things happening at once, and each teenager is going through a different thing at the time. Like, I started finding out that I liked girls in the 6th grade, and I didn't know that was an option. You know, I used to think, like, that's not an option, you know. So I went through a lot of high school just going, I'm straight. Like, and also, like, not being from America, I didn't really know how people would view me. And but with this new generation, like, it's okay. It's okay to be who you are. And a lot of kids are growing up around the media, around social media. The media can be bad, but in a lot of other ways, it can be really good. It could be a source to find people who are like you, to find people who love the same things as you, or people who are just different from you that you wouldn't usually talk to, you know? Like, I used to think the jocks were weird and loud for no reason. And now I work with two of them. One of them is like a brother now. And I look at it, we used to know each other in high school, but we never talked to each other because we both thought, like, oh, the social cues and the social cliques are what define us. But actually, it's not real. It's not the truth. It's just something that, you know, we was kind of built in already. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'm glad you're talking about all these topics. I'm taking notes when I'm looking away, just because it gives me ideas and things to touch up on real time things that are occurring. Um, But yeah, I also especially like that you shared about not being from America, not feeling that you will be welcomed or if you will be loved, and also just sharing about your high school experience as far as like cheerleading, and then also your sexual orientation. These are real things that are happening today in real time, and I think that these are topics, of course, that we need to touch up on. But you saying that you're not from America, it just goes to show that yes, currently we do have something that is going on right now. Specifically, there's a movement, the Black Lives Movement going on,
Yep.
but also goes to show on a broader band, on a bigger spectrum, that all of us are going through this and all of us are, you know, feeling this way. So that's good that we talked about it so we can all come together and of course, you know, spread awareness. But as far as like you saying in regards to this generation, I really have, at first I felt like I was getting a little bit lost, a little like losing faith in the way we're becoming and just the things that were happening as a generation today, just with social media and just all these how do you say it, you know, these titles we're all putting on, you know, like millennials, they just think that they're going to be billionaires on social media or it's going to happen in like 1 week or one. Well, hello, somebody, times have changed. And yes, it is possible. And yes, it can happen. But also, I have faith in the current generation because never before have I seen like such a huge impact and such a huge movement. There are protests in all 50 states in the United States of America, and I know that we all have our different feelings and all our different emotions about it, and that's okay. The message that I want to send out there is that, you know, yes, there's a lot of negatives and yes, there's a lot of positives, but we also have to remember that these are sparking conversations, these are sparking
Exactly.
realization, and we're all showing up. We're all coming out. It's not just one state, it's not just one race, it's not just one part. We're all coming together.
Exactly. I feel the same way. Like, I've never seen such a mass, you know, impact. Like, the media has really helped, I think, in this part, because like you could see people like posting those black squares. You could see people talking about it. You could see people who would have never gotten involved unless they started seeing the mass, you know, production of it on the internet. Like, I went to one of the riots, and like, yes, it went violent, and it was very, very, like, harsh in some places, but like the reason everyone was there was to call to attention the fact that Black lives are under threat constantly, more than any other race, you know? And we can't all matter unless Black lives matter, like, you know? And I
That's
think
how, yep.
it was calling attention, like awareness. And if it made people uncomfortable, that was the point. We wanted to make them uncomfortable. We wanted to make them see and feel like they had to create a change, because that's the point. If riots make you uncomfortable, that's the point. If talking about racism makes you uncomfortable, that's the point. We're supposed to make you feel uncomfortable because we're supposed to catch your attention. We're supposed to make you want to change, you know? And I think it's important. Like, the media has really helped with that. And especially with this new generation is just, I used to think like, wow, this generation is just really weird, you know, the TikTok and the you know, the dances and stuff. But now I'm starting to think like, but they're so tech savvy and they're so like open minded now, because they see
Innovative,
everything. They see everything from every view.
open. There's
It
no
is just the history
limitation.
book. Yeah, it's not the
Yeah,
history, it's not their friends, it's everybody. It's everybody in the world. You can see what everyone thinks, and it teaches you to be open minded to new perspectives. So
yeah, my bun is agreeing with us. Look at us going everywhere. But yeah, no, exactly what you said about the media. The media can be a positive thing, and like you're saying, we can't blame the media. I want to touch on that, and I just want to say that, you know what I mean. We do have our ideas about the media, and yes, the media creates this image for us to see every single day. But at the same token, at the end of the day, I personally believe that it's up to us, and you know, it's up to us
yeah,
about what the media put there. It's up to us to hold the media responsible for the things that they're putting on our screens. If we're not
exactly.
okay with the things that they're portraying, it's up to us to make that voice and to say that out. So, like you were saying again, the generation, this current generation, it was a little bit weird, you know.
Yeah,
From millennials on, we were just labeled as, you know, spoiled, or, you know, losing that old school teaching, and et cetera, et cetera.
yeah,
But hey, that's on, you know, whoever we're around and whatnot. But I
hmm
think the good thing about this is we're starting to become a more open generation. We're starting to become a more, you know, just multicultural as it should be. And like you're saying, you know, they're tech savvy, and just all the technologies, the new information, and just the resources. There's so much stuff out there that we can
yeah.
do.
There is. I agree.
And yeah, there's so much stuff out there that we can do. That's, you know, one of the main reasons why I'm here right now, because I try my best, you know, right now with COVID, you know, I'm trying to figure out, take advantage of this time that I have being at home to really figure out what I want to do. At the
Yeah,
same token, and at the same token, I'm also taking time to kind of learn myself a little bit more before I figure all of that out as well. So it's been a good thing. Been a good change. Before we jump off, and we have the next guest heading on. Is there anything else that you want to say before we go?
um, I want to say that change doesn't just happen overnight. It's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be a long riot. It's gonna be a long protest. You know, slavery happened for over 260 years, and after Martin Luther King died, you know, after he got assassinated, riots broke out everywhere. And then a few days later, the Civil Rights Act was, you know, put in place. And I think that sometimes change requires action. And maybe the looting and the you know, breaking into building stuff was insane. And I agree, like that was quite the extreme. But I think that people should be thoughtful about their actions and about their words. And being a part of this movement has really taught me that I'm not alone in my, you know, in my little shell. Like these four walls will not protect me from the injustice around the world. Like when I go outside, there's a risk, you know. Going to those protests is a risk. You could get the coronavirus, you could get shot, you could get arrested, and you could probably never come out. Like there's so many risks, and if people are willing to risk it all and, you know, see that change, if they're willing to sacrifice everything, I think that's something worth fighting for. I think if you're willing to sacrifice your life, your health, you know, just yourself, I think if you're willing to do that, then I think the revolution is worth fighting for. I think this is worth fighting for, you know. And anything you do with whole heart, you know, with your whole heart, anything you do with love, anything you do wholeheartedly, it's gonna be good. I think anything done with love is good, you know. And I'm someone who's willing to risk it all. I'm an all or nothing person, and I've gotten a lot of backlash for getting involved in the riots and getting involved with race, like, you know, posting about racism, talking about racism. But I think that I'm doing my best in my ability and in my age group and in, you know, whatever I am. I'm doing my best and I'm doing it wholeheartedly. And I think that people should see that everyone's willing to risk it all, especially me. And if you're willing to risk it all to see a change, then it's going to change. You know, change is going to come, I think. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you very much for all of that. I think that just to double back on that, I think that change is going to come of this. Change is here and change is happening. There's so much going on. I didn't really want to touch on it too much. I kind of just wanted to give you an avenue, but also in good news. And I wanted to make sure that the source was a legitimate source. But I think I read that the police officer with the George Floyd thing, he's getting more time, I believe, and that the other 3 officers as
Yeah.
well are officially being arrested. So that is like
Yeah.
huge, I think, just because of all the work that we've done. So we all really need to,
Exactly.
not saying to stop, but just take time to really like think about this and sit in this and really see that we've come far, we've come a long way. Everybody rest up. Everybody, you know, like just take time to be proud in the moment, because everybody made it happen. Whatever way you guys did it, whatever age you guys are, whatever platform we all use, we all, you know, put into making it happen. This was a worldwide effort, and we saw it with all the
Exactly.
blacked out kids.
Exactly. You could like, they were going to let him walk. They weren't going to do anything about it until people started calling attention to it, bringing awareness to it. And that's how change comes, is one voice, one person, and then just impacting the whole world. And you know, we're going to look back on this. We're going to be, you know, our kids are going to be reading in the history books, and they're going to turn to us and ask, what did you do? What did you do when it was this time, you know? And I didn't want to tell my kid, like, oh, I didn't do anything. I stood by and you know, I was scared. Like, no, I want to teach my kid to be brave, and I want to teach my children to be thoughtful about things, you know? And I don't want them to look at me and think like, you know, you're a bystander in something as important as this, you know? Do you want to be on the right side of history? Do you, or do you not, you know? Like, I want to be on the right side. I want to be part of the change, you know? A lot of people do.
Yeah. I'm so happy that we touched base on these topics. I love it. I appreciate it. I'm so happy that you got on and that I was able to catch you today. I love everything that we were talking about. I'm probably going to follow up with you to see, you know, follow up with the journey and see what's going on and what we're doing, and hop back on again and do a check-in.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for having me here. I'm very glad to answer these questions, you know, as a youth.
I'm so happy. I'm so graceful that only my second live in, I got a youth, because at first I started doing these questions where it was like, if you could tell your teenage self one thing, and I was looking for adults, you know what I mean? I was trying to get that information out to adults. And I think I was trying to make it a part of my journey, and I was trying to figure out what I was feeling as an adult and what I would tell my younger self. But I'm so grateful that I can have the youth themselves on here speaking, and that's the whole purpose. It's for the platform. So thank you so much. I'm going to follow up with you. Have a great day. Thank you for all the awesome stuff. I'm going to tag you on the video if you would like.
Thanks, everyone. Yep.
Yes, thank you, everyone. All right. Sorry, Mr. Big Faith. Let me get my guy on here. Good topics, good stuff we're talking about. Boom, boom, boom. Yo.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? What's up?
Hey,
how you doing?
You should close that thing behind you, the curtain.
Oh, is it like the glare?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
It can look a lot better.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Hold up. Thanks for the tip. I was like kind of looking at that. But it looked pretty okay from my side. I don't know. Is that better?
Oh well, the
Probably
whole point is
the other
you don't want that piece of light hitting, like showing like that.
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a little
that's better. That's much better. You don't like
boom, boom, boom.
there's a lot of subtle things you could do to make your backgrounds look like a lot more professional. You know, like
Right?
with positioning and lighting and all that. Like this wall is pretty whatever professional, but like if I wanted to step it up, obviously I'd move this rack. And but if I turn the camera to another part of my room, it doesn't look that professional. So just
Yeah,
for the
I try my best with the space. My room's pretty small, so this was like boom,
yeah,
the
me
best
too.
spot here. We getting at it though. We getting at it.
Hmm.
Thank you though. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Um, yeah, man, I just wanted to jump in just the same thing like we did before. I'll kind of just go over introductions. Uh, we'll go through the question that we had, and then other than that, we'll kind of give you the floor to see how you're feeling, follow up with you. So everyone that just jumped on, I'm Chelsea. C-Ray says on all social platforms. What we're doing here is we're providing youth advice and support virtually. And again, when we say youth advice and support, just really trying to start to do locally, see the needs of the youth, and try and share that information and those resources as well. The purpose is to bring awareness and also end normalization to all the real facts and things that our youth are facing today as well, and also to give our youth and everybody else a platform. So thank you to Mr. Big Faith for jumping on. I appreciate it. I've actually met Mr. Big Face on social media, TikTok, and he's a Christian rapper out of Los Angeles. Actually,
Right.
listen to some of his music right now. We're gonna follow up with that just in a second. So, how did you feel about the questions that I had?
Uh, they're important ones.
Yeah. So, jumping in, if you can tell your teenage self one thing, what would that be?
Uh, that he's not missing anything. He's not missing out on anything by being separated from the world. Um, I tell my younger self to build strong, positive habits, strong, godly habits, really real discipline, because having those firm foundations and roots or not having them will have very drastic effects for good or bad. I'd tell my younger self uh, not to worry about what other people think, to always see myself through the way God sees me, to see, to care about the way that God is seeing everything that I'm doing, and to just stay focused on God's plan, will, and purpose. That way, I'm not like working against, or that way, He or I'm not working against myself. That way, we can just get to where God wants us to be with ease, the most ease, because there's already gonna be trials and tribulations regardless, whether you're doing good or not. So you might as well go through your trials and tribulations the most prepared and with the best mindset you can. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree on that. As far as like us going through trials and tribulations, we're gonna go through it. And I think just being aware of that and being prepared for that, and having the best tools on, our belt, I guess, will just be beneficial. It'll just make us more, yeah, like prepared for what's to come and kind of like be able to think about it on our own and how we can best navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being shared, the follow-up question after that is that, if you knew back then what you knew now, how do you think, that kind of information would have been beneficial for you just at that time?
Depending on how I received it, it could be extremely beneficial. It could completely it could have completely changed my life. Depending on how I would receive it, though, like depending on how yeah, because it like you listen more when certain people tell you stuff than when other people tell you stuff. So if I would actually listen to myself and I'd heed those advices that I gave, I would be much further ahead, much closer to my destination than I am now. Save myself a lot of negativity, a lot a lot of cycles, a lot of pain. And I think I probably could have helped a lot more people than I am now. But I'm thankful that God is still working with me. But I think if I would have listened to myself or known what I know now, then I'd be extremely advanced. Like I'd be like where I am now by age 17.
Yeah, like way back then. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's important. You know what I mean? Specifically, just kind of, trusting in yourself and being there for yourself. Um, but then again, as well, we're at such a young age, which is okay because we all go through our own process and our way in living and our in our own times and stuff. So with that being said, with that and everything that you just shared, what you believe, you would have saved a lot of pain and you would have saved a lot of cycles of negative things that maybe you have put yourself in. What would be your message for others out there who may have related to what you said specifically as far as advice currently to the youth and just anybody, for everybody?
I would tell them to make sure that you have a real relationship with God, that you really make sure that you understand the difference between relationship and religion, and that you don't let anyone else's choices or decisions or mindsets deter you from your relationship with God. It should just be you and Him at the end of the day. If your family, if your friends, whoever changes religion or bashes you because of your religion, and you change your beliefs because of that, you're never truly a Christian in the first place. If you're a true believer, nothing can shift you. So I encourage everyone to stay strong in their faith, and really know if you're just believing stuff because that's the way that you were brought up, or if you personally believe these things for yourself. And I would tell anyone growing up that looking for advice, just to like I said, you're not missing out on anything by not being a part of the stupidity of the world. It's actually a lot of beautiful time that you could be spending, letting God uh, sanctify you, cleanse you, heal you, and prepare you for great things, filling you with knowledge and wisdom, growing in whatever talents or gifts He's giving you. Like I say, like, don't sell out. Don't get involved in a bunch of relationships. Don't get consumed in the stupidity of the things of the world. Like, it's literally just Satan trying to get you to sell out, to not attain different levels that God has for you to reach.
Yeah. I enjoy you saying about, identifying the difference between relationship and religion. Just because of the fact that me personally as well, you know what I mean? We've all we've all fell into the trap of just the labels and the religions and the beliefs, and it's one thing and another thing. But I'm glad because I am coming to the realization and the confidence, I guess, um, within myself to tell myself like, hey, other people might think this of you because your sexual orientation, or think that of you because you're doing this thing, or saying this thing, or advocating for this cause or whatever. But I've come to the realization and the confidence to know, like, just continue still working on the process, and the confidence to know that we all have our own purpose, we all have our own mission, and at the end of the day, it's in between him and I. Obviously, still be humble to people, and just open-minded, I guess, but that relationship. And also, to touch on that as well, sometimes, like, for me personally, I pressure myself, like, oh, you gotta do like Bible study, or you gotta go to church, or oh, you gotta be praying like all throughout this time, and yada yada yada. And I'm starting to realize the fact of relationship is like, no, it's just coming to him, you know keeping up with him, and communicating. So I thank you for sharing that.
Amen.
And
And yeah, when it comes
before.
to the relationship thing, I want to just clarify and press that God is the Word, Jesus is the Word. So I'm not talking about some like arbitrary thing. I'm talking about relationship with the Word, understanding the Word who is Jesus, and just making sure that we're not making up our own Christ, but that the God that we are serving is the God of the Bible, who's revealed Himself in Scripture, and that we don't, because then we could still be serving false gods, even though we think we're reading the Bible. That's why we need to be constant in our study, so we know which God we're serving. Amen.
Yeah. I just had a question pop up. It's totally off track, and it's super, like, touchy subject, but I also think it's important we press on it. So, with you saying that, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that maybe, like myself, fall short to the relationship with Jesus because of the things that we do, or the beliefs that we think, like, you know what I mean, like, society or people be telling us that we're one thing or the other, and then we're always going to fall short to sin or whatever. Do you have a message to anybody out there who kind of feels like, because, like, for me, sometimes I feel bad if I do something. It's like, man, how can you continue to talk to Jesus when you're over here continuously doing this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, separating from God is, when you're messing up, separating from God is not what you want to do. The devil's gonna make you want to run away from God, but you should, when you sin, you should definitely feel conviction. You should you should thank God if you feel bad. You should never feel good when you're sinning. You should never feel good when you're doing wrong. But when you feel conviction, you gotta understand that God is trying to draw you correction, to come back into alignment with himself, and with his word. But if you start feeling like separating from God, that's of the enemy. That's why you need to be in the word and grow in discernment and grow in your relationship with God, so you will not take like that. You won't just like condemn yourself or feel ungodly feelings, but you'll be able to feel conviction and let that do its work in you, instead of taking it as being condemned when God rebukes you.
Amen. Right, right. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. These are a lot of good topics. Thank you very much. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
um, I appreciate you for having me on. I hope that everything that God has for you will come to pass, that He'll keep on revealing what He has for your life. Um, I got two albums I dropped in the past like 2 weeks. I dropped a bunch of singles this month. All my ads, social media ads, all my music, my name on every music platform is Mr. Big Faith. MRBIGFAITH, all one word, no space, no period. And God is doing a lot of beautiful and great things in the world at this time. But also the Bible talks about judgment and there being a great and terrible day. So I was saying, like, now is not the time to be lukewarm or empty-headed, just like being casual about things, because the world is changing very drastically, and it's going to be very good for some people and very bad for others. We need to all know where we stand in life and as people and all that.
Wow.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen, for sure. You also dropped a video, 145, huh?
Oh
PST,
yeah, I just dropped.
YouTube.
I literally just dropped a music video a few minutes ago on YouTube.
Like, yeah. So yeah, man, I appreciate all the time. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the kind words and you opening up. I know the topics that I'm talking about. It could be heavy for all of us, so I really appreciate it. I'm definitely going to be following up with you just to check in. I thank you for sharing, your own personal thoughts and feelings about that. And before we go, you asked me to jump on the platforms and listen to your music, and I just wanted to play a couple and let you know the ones that I was like really resonating with. So before
Amen.
we jump off, the first one that attracted me was Now or Never.
Amen.
And
Amen.
yeah.
Amen.
So when I listened to Now or Never, I was like, the words really resonated with me because just that fact right there, now or never. Right now I feel like I'm going to a period in time where I'm really trying to figure out, who I am, and what I want to do. You know what I mean? I'm going to be 30 in October, so there's a whole new decade for me out there, and I feel like I've just been processing, I've been growing, I've been learning, I've been going through the trial and tribulations, and I wasn't really being conscious to all that stuff. It was the continuous cycles, like you were saying, even in my 20s, not even in my 20s, the continuous cycle. So now, entering 30, I want to be able to apply. Not saying that I haven't applied anything, but really fully apply. And just the fact that you said now are times that we can't be lukewarm, or empty-headed. I feel that 110% just because I also feel something in me. Like I see everything, man, that's happening right now, the coronavirus, Black Lives Matter, the protests everywhere, the rioting, a lot of attention is coming onto our medical system for people and for the medical workers. The police officers are just everything all at once, so it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of heavy stuff, but the Now or Never was just like another confirmation, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna get it started. I'm gonna get it playing. We'll play it a little bit. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know it's gonna be loud, but hell yeah.
Now or never.
I like the beat on it too.
It's now or never. Speak or hold your peace forever. The time for shift has come when you pursue the truth or pleasure. The stops at every turn, so be careful with your endeavors.
That part.
Inside the portion of faith that you can measure. So many lose their soul because they go with the quiet treasure, or lose their hope and drown in the storm that they couldn't weather. The season shifted, that means the body is being sifted. Entrance to the promised land takes more than being gifted. Those who die with Christ know on the last day will be lifted. I pray we understand God's word and truth, not get it twisted. Some have no guidance, others issues that they never listen. Some think but really they're trapped in a mental prison. As for me and mine, we know the time, we on the mission to be disciples, make disciples that remain consistent. We need revival, plead revival, God, we need assistance. Never again when we ask for help.
I mess with that, man.
If Yahweh will be for
The
us,
words, real life stuff, fire, dude.
Spirit of the Lord, what do we it's time to put childish things away. I've learned my lesson. We're our own biggest enemy, but no more blocking blessings. It's now or never. Speak or hold your peace forever. The time for shift has come when you pursue the truth or pleasure. It's traps at every turn, so be careful with your endeavors. I'll inside the portion of faith that you can measure.
Yo, dude, all those words right there, the chorus, you know what I mean? It's now or never, you know, truth or pleasure. That's all real stuff, you know what I mean? And when I heard that, I was like, man, obviously we know, you know what I mean? That it's like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? But also when you're talking about just like a shift as well, you know, I was like, yo, I feel that, you know what I mean? Because there is a shift within me as well. And man, I have been trying to take my time, man, to process everything, especially the stuff that are going on today. I have a voice and I have opinion, but I also want to be super conscientious and thoughtful and mindful to everything that's going on, and just put that message out there as well that our platform is not just a platform just to share, you know what I mean? Like I feel like we need to start shifting into having that purpose or that positive message, because just like we're talking about with my guests before you, as far as just the media and portraying everything, but this music is dope. I love the lyrics. I love everything you're talking about. And the second one that I was checking out too was Skirt. That was the one. That was the one. Yo, I heard, that was the first one I heard. But I was moving around, I was doing a bunch of stuff, so I didn't really get any time. But once I sat down and I started listening to it, I was like, okay, cool.
All right, that's what's up. You want me to put it?
Yeah, damn it.
Let's see. All right. Yeah, everyone kind of likes Skirt.
Yo, yeah, I saw it going up on the chart on YouTube. It was all over.
Let me see. Hold up.
Now, while we're waiting for everybody who's just chiming in, it's a big space on all social platforms, musical platforms. This one, though.
Got no time to waste. Gotta pick up the pace like doing donuts from the devil when I'm first word. First I just got hold, now thanks to my good God, I'm sure that we were made to overcome this world, not just endure. Lord, we need your fire. Bible says, bless all the pure. Oh God, take me out, make my salvation sure. Oh, me gotta die. What better weapon than the word? Devil wanna try us to get buried in the dirt. Used to be a thug, now was till I need my word. We were made to be the bride of Christ and rule the earth. Match out in my soul, every day I'm giving birth. Everything get added when you seek the kingdom first. This the freestyle off the dome, I don't need to rehearse. While they out there blasting chrome, we reversing the curse. When God's revelation shown and showed me I'm the worst. Then he took me under his wings, all the things I've learned. Got no time to wait, gotta pick up the pace like doing donuts from the devil when I'm in Christ's word. First I just got hold of it. We were made to overcome this world, not just today. Hallelujah, hallelujah, all praise be to God. Thank you, Jesus, for your love. I find comfort in your rod. Spirit truth, me and you feel like peace in the pod. Any demon you are off, Lord, just give me the nod. I am testing all our work, manifesting all our work. Burn the wood, the hay, the stubble. Time to take off out the earth. They doubted me, try to discourage me, but if I send it, they really can't stop me. They back in the for real and righteous, as far as they don't like it, so they wanna pop me. If they hit me with lightning, still they never can looking sharp. It's really just me versus me.
Hey,
You don't see
before
what I
this
really got.
ends, live stream is gonna end in like 5 seconds.